Frick, frackle. Okay, YouTube stuff. Hello everybody, today I'm going to be doing another YouTube tutorial on Bridge V2. Today we're going to be doing a tutorial on how to make a more, like, a partially advanced item. So between just the basic, just the bare necessities, and we're going to be diving into some more, like giving it attributes and stuff afterwards. So let's get straight to it. I'm going to new file like usual. I'm going to go to item down here, and you can see blank item. But usually there's a few presets. I don't know why there isn't right now, but there isn't. But for this, we're just going to do blank item, and we're going to use something I've made a while back. We're just going to chromium. It's a green ingot I made, but we're not going over that today. Anyway, we just want to give it an identifier, which doesn't really matter. And then display name can be really whatever you want. Okay, now that we're in here, you'll see it opens the resource pack, which we're not going to be going into today, and then it opens up this. This is what we're going to be doing, the behavior pack, which would be in this side, not the resource pack. You can see here all of the things we've made so far, like the loot table, and how we made the limestone and all that. Anyway, so first thing you're going to see is here in description. You can do stuff like this, category, and then this is how you can select where the item would be. For example, nature is the leftmost one. Construction is the one is on the very left. Equipment is the one with armor. Items is the one with the beds and stuff and all the utility blocks. For this doesn't really matter. We're just gonna set to nature, as it is actually the preset one for this. Now, as you can see here, use duration. We're not going to do that right yet, but as you can see, max stack size. You can make it say 1, or you can make this 6, as you can see here. So that means that only 6 of them can be per slot. But the basic one is 64. But you don't have to add this. It'll by default it'll be 64. So if you're not changing stack size, you don't even have to add that. You can see food down here. You can make it a food. So you can give it effects and stuff like that. So say you can eat it, and then it'll give you saturation. Nutrition is like how much it would give, like how many hunger bars it would give, or so every single. Okay, let's put in a nutrition thing. You can see every single one of these would be half a hunger bar. So yeah. And so, for example, cooked beef has 8, as it gives you 4 hunger bars. You can see saturation modifier. That saturation is the kind of thing that makes you go longer without needing food. So basically, stuff like cooked beef will give you a bit of saturation, but stuff like cake and stuff wouldn't, like in real life. Like stuff like salty things don't give you saturation in real life, but yeah. Effects, you can see that when you eat it, it would give you an effect for duration. You can do the amplifier visible, so you can see it. And then the chance of giving an effect. So sometimes when you eat it, it wouldn't give it an effect, or it would. So you can see for this is the chance, and yeah. But anyway, for effects, you could just do name. And you can see all these, absorption gives you absorption hearts, which are the yellow hearts you can get. Bad omen is the effect you get from killing pillagers, and then stuff like that. Like conduit power is a conduit. Fatal poison is poison, but it can actually kill you. But yeah, you can see through all of this, a bunch of different things that you can do. And then if you go up here, you can see all the ambient and visible stuff. You can go through and really customize the effects and all that. And that's for food. The components here, you can see max damage, which is kind of just the damage, foil, stacked by data, hand equipped, all these little things. So for example, hand equipped, So then if we want to, never mind. But this is how you would make a basic like item for the game. So yeah. Definitely not ending off yet because I do want to go over one or two more things with you guys. So as you can, okay, so as you can, as you can see, all these things, right? But usually they're being unused thing. For some reason, my bridge is being glitchy, so I'm probably not gonna be able to share that out today, sadly. So I guess we're have to be done with the items. But if we go into a new file again, let's just go back to something else we've done recently. That's where it goes first. Oh yeah, but recipes. These are really useful when going with items. Actually, this is how you make crafting recipes and also stuff with like how to make stuff with that furnace. So like when you can smelt one thing into another thing, all kinds of things you can see in templates here. Shaped is when you have to be very specific in a crafting table, like a specific order of the items. Shapeless is where you just have to have those items in the crafting table in any way, like a torch and stuff like that. I mean, not a torch. That's a terrible example. Torch is a shaped recipe because you have to, but it can be anywhere in the crafting table. But like, but shapeless recipe is like just two items have to be in the crafting table. So yeah, sure. Like mud and wheat makes packed mud, which would be a shapeless recipe since you can put those two items anywhere in the crafting table. Stuff like that. Furnace is just put one thing in, another one comes out, and then brewing mix, and then brewing container, and all that. So that's how you would make those. But today we're just going to be doing shaped recipe because shaped recipe is more annoying to deal with. And then for file name, you can just name it as I said before. Anything you want. Okay, so anyway, we're going to be so you can just make that and then you want to go create. And you go into here and you can see all of these. For now we're just going to delete all of these since I want to just go off a blank slate here. Don't get rid of the description. Anyway, recipe shaped, as you can see here. So first thing we want to add is tags. This basically says what your thing can be crafted in, which also works for a custom crafting table with all of that. But for this, we're going to be doing a crafting table recipe. And then you can, so yeah, you can see here we can do crafting table, but we can also add multiple. So you can, as you can see, you can add it to just a furnace, or and a blast furnace and a smoker. You can do it to three things. Have other furnaces and stuff like that. For this, we're just going to do crafting table, and then you can see here we're going to do pattern. Now, as you can see, there's no suggestions for it because you have to make it yourself. So the way this works is you're going to put in symbols, and then you can define what those symbols are in terms of items later on. So as you can see here, we have nothing yet. So say we want a exclamation point for one item, at symbol for one item. Okay, so if it's a 3x3, you want to do three symbols, right? But say we in the middle we want a space, we just press spacebar, and then we'll say we're going to do another one of those, and then we have to do spacebar again on the other side, and then you can see that there's open spaces. You want those open spaces for spaces that aren't in there, and then we'll just do the top again. I can see this is the pattern. And so that's a pattern in the crafting table. Exclamation points are on the bottom, or on all the corners, and then a line down the middle is going to be another item. Right now that you made your pattern, you want to do your key. The key defines what the symbols are. So it doesn't matter what symbol you use. You can use anything on the keyboard. I usually like using like at symbols, exclamation points, and stuff like you would hold shift for on like a normal QWERTY keyboard. I usually like using those, but it really doesn't matter. And then you want to get this, and then you want to do item. And then as you can see here, you can choose any item in the game. So say we want to make it out of, so the corners would be a netherite ingot. But then you can see here an at symbol, which is the middle ones. So on all these corners, that will be a netherite ingot. And then on all those at symbols in their place, So all the way across the middle would be a diamond, as you can see here. But if you go here, you can make it data, so you can make. Oh, you need one with a data of 1. If we're making an item with multiple variants, then you would want to use the data thing, which we're not going over today. You can see here so you can see all of that works like that, and then you can see that's how you make the actual recipe. That's how you can define where the items go, and then for the result, you want to just get that item, and then as you can see here, you can make whatever you want. We're just gonna do, I guess, like, it's just a terrible example. Nobody's gonna be using this recipe for an amethyst block, but as you can see here, you can just result item, and then you can do anything you want in the game, including the block items, and then you can do count. So say it would give 2 when you made it, or like, and you can do that as high as you want. But I don't think you would want somebody to get almost 1,000 amethyst blocks from a recipe because it'll freaking spam your inventory. Usually you do like maybe 6, or like for iron bars, how they're like, I'm pretty sure they're like 12. So you'd get iron bar 12 when you did the crafting recipe, and it's a shaped recipe for iron bars and stuff. And say it is something like, and say we want it to be, you put 3 spaces there. Nope, that is, what? Okay, so say you want it to be on the top, you would just do space, space, space. Space, space, space. Space, space, space. Okay. For some reason, being annoying, putting a 0 there, so you want to go into pattern, add space, space, space. And that should look like that. That's the 3 spaces. And as you can see here, that one, no, it doesn't fit into this whole thing because the spaces are small. When actually using it, that means you would only do it on the top. And for something like this, you could also move it down to the bottom for that. And also, this won't change anything as long as you keep all the symbols that are in here on there. But if you're adding new symbols or removing one, then you would remove one or add a new one to the key. So yeah, I like keeping them in order of pattern. So what I like doing is doing tags for the craft table, then the pattern, then the key, then the result. So that's how you make a crafting recipe for a crafting table. And then furnace, like, you do input and then output. The input is what you put into smelt, and then the output is what it gives when you smelt it. Okay, and then I do want this to be a bit of a longer video, so we're going to do one final little thing for this. We're going to, give me a second. We're going to be going over oh yeah, these things. So as you can see, we used blank empty last time, but you can see these. I didn't really go over these at all. So say for example so if you're ever like don't know if you want to go off of the code of something else in Minecraft, like you remember like, hey, spiders can climb, let's figure out how spiders climb, for example, because you want to make your things climb, then you can go into here. Okay, sorry, I need to do X. There we go. Anyway, so you can see this goes out the resources because we're not doing that right now. You can see here, you can see all the code that is in for this entity, and you can go through it, open all these things up in the block code. Also, if you're doing the basic coding with that, you can go into block coding, and it's really easy to figure out what things mean what and what things go where when you're using. So you can go into the tree editor, which makes the text editor a lot easier. But if we open it all up here, so So if you really think about it, spiders are pretty simple mobs. So most of this is actually just jockeys and all that. So, God, this is taking forever to open up. By the way, the reason it has YouTube at the beginning is because that's the prefix I selected. So it will change everything, all those the stuff like that to that. Don't worry, it won't actually affect anything what your prefix is. It can be literally whatever you want, and it will not affect how the code functions. It's really more aesthetic to go with your mod. It's usually I would suggest keeping it somewhere like close to the name of the mod or the theme. Like for example, I have an ore mod I'm making, and an alloy mod I'm making, and I keep the like the prefix as like something like I keep it as ores. And so then you type that when you're doing the command, like how you do Minecraft before it sometimes. Like say Minecraft, never ingot. That's what you would do to like do the command, or you could just not include the Minecraft part. But that's only for vanilla items. For modded items, you have to that prefix is Minecraft for normal stuff. But the prefix for your stuff is permanent, as it's not a part of the game. You can't do it without that. So when you're okay, so the prefix is at the beginning. It's for aesthetics, so it'd be at the beginning of. So instead of Minecraft, nuclear, like reactor, it'd be nuclear reactor or something. Because it has to go with the mod at the beginning, so it makes sense. And so players kind of know an easier way to find it if they don't remember the name of the item, which is another thing that can help. Because if you're posting this up on like something like MCPDL or ModBay, which are two very good like websites for downloading. ModBay is much better if you're making like a high quality mod, but if you're newer, I would suggest MCPDL, but it is kind of annoying to upload. So if you want a simpler experience, go to ModBay, but MCPEDL has a lot more like low class mods. But then if we're talking about something like ModBay has a bunch of high quality mods that are approved by the website. So you do have to get it approved on there. So you probably have to like make art for it and all that, and like Blockbench and stuff. So yeah. Anyway, so when you're going through this, like in this, you don't have to open it all up because also in text editor it will open everything up for you. But I like using block editor because it's simpler and the tree editor because it's simpler and and less painful to write everything. Because to be honest, more of a quality of life thing rather than a completely different way to do it. But you can see here, you can go through this and then you can okay, so you can go through this, you can look at all the things and all that. And you can like go off of this, you can nameable, but then you can basically through here you can just go through everything, learn, figure out what other things do for it. You have to though. You can just go straight off to your own thing, but sometimes it's nice to just start on something pre-made and just look through all of it. Maybe change a few things, try out the mod on the actual game, and kind of just like get the feel of how you can change how mobs work and what deleting certain things or adding certain things makes changes about it. So you can really get a feel for what these things actually do. But that is time consuming, so if you don't want to do that, you can keep watching my tutorials and figure out how to do specific things for all that. So yeah, if we had, so yeah, I think that's all we're going over today. Have a good day and goodbye.